So welcome everybody, welcome to the council meeting for the 24th of November 2021, where we are looking to adopt the statement of proposal on the future of the Levin Landfill. Can I first, any apologies? Any public participation? None. Any late items? None. Any declarations of interest? None. Confirmation of minutes. Can I please have confirmation of the minutes for council meeting of the 10th November 2021 and the meeting minutes for the in-committee meeting of council of the 10th of November 2021. Can I please have someone to confirm those minutes? Councillor Allen? Councillor Brannigan? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Any announcements? Thank you. So, welcome to, we have a couple of members of Morrison Solutions on Zoom with us. Welcome Tessa, and who you know, and also a new face for most of us, I think, Doug Lowe. Welcome, Doug.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. You look very similar to another gentleman that's been in our midst for a long time, so we shouldn't have any trouble in that space.
He's a bit shorter than I am.
Thank you. While Ashley comes to the table and to introduce the report, can I please move 3.1 and 3.2 that the report is received and that this matter or decision is recognised as significant in terms of Section 76 of the Local Government Act. Can I have a movement? Councillor Allen, Councillor Tukapua, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, I will take the report as read. However, we'd just like to highlight a few points. So if adopted, the future of the Levin Landfill Statement of Proposal consultation will open for 2 months from the 30th of November 2021 to 5 p.m. the 31st of January 2022. The Statement of Proposal and supporting information will be available at HDC Civic Building and Centres, Te Tākitanga o Horowhenua, Te Horowhenua District and Shannon Library. All of this information will also be available online, and submissions can be made via online or written format. We will also include posts on social media where polls and comments can be made, which will be then made available to elected members. We've developed an engagement plan that supports this. This includes marketing, posters, collateral, website, social media, drop-in sessions, and other areas. During the 2-month period, as I said, there will be drop-in sessions which will be held in Levin, Hawkehill Beach and Foxton, where the community can speak with technical experts. I would also like to note that today I tabled the supporting documentation for adoption. You each have this on your table. That includes the Levin Landfill business case by Morrison Solutions, a wellbeing case report by Burl, and a table that displays options with the rate impact before and after growth. All this information will be made available online at those sites. I also will be tabling the graphics, the draft graphics version of the future of the landfill statement of proposal. Within this document, I would like to make note of material amendments based on suggestions from councillors that have been made post-agenda release. Page 4 of this document, under the landfill agreement and formal review, there's amended wording that now reads, the Chief Executive Officer signed the landfill agreement instead of the wording council. Page 7, under option 1, a change in bullet point number 2 to include additional wording. The capping and closure costs of the Levin landfill will likely be funded by debt. Ongoing management and monitoring of the landfill, once capped, will likely be funded from a combination of rates and debt. Bullet point 3 now reads, council-controlled waste would be transported to another landfill or disposal facility. The contract with the disposal operator will state that the landfill or disposal facility must continue to meet its environmental requirements. And an additional point to that reads, Year 2, 2022-23 of the long-term plan includes an average rates increase of 7.35%. If the preferred option is selected for the Levin Landfill, the proposed rates increase for 2022-23 will increase by a further 2.5% to 9.9%. And also on page 7, under option 2, an additional point has been added that reads, Year 2, 2022-23 of the long-term plan includes an average rates increase of 7.35%. If option 2 is selected for the landfill, the proposed rates increase for 2022-23 will increase by a further 2.8% to 10.1%. On the next page, which is page 8, under option 3, an additional point that reads, Year 2, 2022-23 of the long-term plan includes an average rates increase of 7.35%. If option 3 is selected, for the landfill, the proposed rates increase for 2022-23 will increase by a further 2.3% to 9.7%. Also noting on page 10, key issues table, there has been an inclusion to the title annual cost increase over status quo to annual average cost increase over status quo. Under option 1, additional wording has been added which says $1.1 million, which is an additional increase for year 2022-23 by a further 2.5% to 9.9%. Option 2, additional wording added to say 1.2 million, which is an additional rates increase for year 2022-23 by a further 2.8% to 10.1%. And then under option 3, additional wording that says 1 million, which is an additional rates increase for year 2022-23 by a further 2.3% to 9.7%. Those are all the changes that have been made to the document since agenda release. Back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Ashley. So does anyone have any points of clarification or questions for either Ashley or Tessa or Doug? Councillor Browning.
Yeah, probably a question for Tessa, I think. In terms of the 2.8, option 2, the 2.8% rate rise for 22-23, just remind me that's based, Tessa, on if the landfill was still operating 10,000 tonnes?
That's correct, yes. 10,000 comprising council and third-party waste, yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Bishop.
Thank you. Ashley, I would like, and I can't find it anywhere, any mention, and I guess this is a hark back to the discussion we've had in the debate, and if we're going out to consultation for the community to at least understand what is left in the landfill that is unused, there's no mention of the 977,000 tonnes that are consented that are in there. There's mention of a capping, and all the narrative points to that it's closed and it's capped and that there's no future. But I think we need to show clearly that there is not only resource consent life, but there is significant tonnage available for if option 3 was to be considered by people of our community.
I have no idea where it could go if it's going to be put in.
Onto that issue.
Through you, Your Worship, Tessa, I'm probably going to look to you a little bit in this in terms of that the suggestion from Councillor Bishop in terms of what I think he's suggesting is providing clarity to the reader with regards to option 3. How would you see that being communicated, given what information has been released in the redacted version of the business case? Would you have a suggestion as to how we could convey that in a bullet point to meet what Councillor Bishop is asking?
So if I understand the question correctly, what we're looking potentially to show is the remaining unused capacity that's in the Levin landfill. There is a reference to that in the business case, and it's not something that has been redacted, so it would be easy to refer to that in the consultation document under the description for option 3, something along the lines of the remaining estimated consented capacity in the Levin landfill is, and I think it's 500 and something thousand cubic metres.
Councillor.
I'm pretty sure 977,000 was a number that was presented at the workshops.
I'm pretty sure that is the total capacity and about half of it's been used, but I'll just have to go back and double check those figures.
So I suppose actually the question is that we can put that in as, well, make reference to it that it is in the business case or include it as a bullet point in option 3.
We can include it as a bullet point in option 3, as it will provide extra clarity to the reader.
Councillor Mitchell.
Thank you. Actually, I'm just wondering at the back where people actually tick their option 1, 2 or 3 and then there are lines, but would it be possible to actually have something like please give your reasons for your preferred option, so that people are actually having to back up why they chose that option?
Yes, we can include that.
Councillor Tuapua.
I know you were saying we could ask questions, but are we allowed at this point make requests of the consultation document? I guess I'm more asking us around the table if any suggestions are welcome or not.
So if they are points of clarification for the document itself and make it easier for the reader to understand, then yes, but any rewrite or substantive change to wording, that is an operational matter which that has been already done, and I don't see any that would be unreasonable, I think, to go ahead and change the substantive wording of the document.
Yes, I understand that, and I did put my amendments forward in advance, and 3 out of 4 went through. So this is just something else, and if others don't agree, that's fine. I can let it go. On page 8 of the document, the title is Important Facts to Consider, and I wondered, could we remove the word fact and just have other important considerations, because some of these bullet points are subjective, like the first one, for example, council does not collect enough waste by itself to justify. Now, currently we don't, but we could have increased our collection and told quite a different story. So it's not a fact. A fact is mix red and yellow equals orange. You cannot change that. It's an absolute fact. So we either call it other important considerations or just important considerations and remove the word fact, or
reword some of those statements. Through you, Your Worship. Again, some of this information will be relevant to the business case and the supporting information, so I would be comfortable with other considerations if that was supported by the table.
Councillor Bishop, are you speaking to that matter?
Yes, I would support that.
Okay. Can I just have a quick raise of hands if people would support that? Thank you. Seems to have consensus, so Ashley will duly note that. Thank you.
And further to that same bullet point list there, important facts to consider, waste volumes are predicted to decrease. And yes, while there's a waste minimisation thing that we learned through the workshops we had with this prior to the decision, we also learned that there wasn't a lot of consideration given to the population growth, and we were saying that like waste could potentially halve, but the population could double. So that's arguably a net zero. And I think to have important facts, that statement under important facts, I'll just take it out.
So that item would have been accepted in the adoption of the preferred option. It would have been included in the business case that we talked to and voted on last week. With the change in terms of the title of that message, I am actually saying that we should leave it there.
Can I just suggest that it just needs a couple of words? It's waste volumes per person are predicted to decrease into the future. It's not generally.
Tessa, I would be comfortable with the suggestion from Councillor Mitchell, and again, just want to check in keeping consistent with the business case. You would be comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think that would be a reasonable change to make. Yeah.
Again, can I have a quick show of hands for those that agree with that? Everyone does. Thank you. Okay, so noted. Councillor Jennings.
Mr. Mayor, I guess I'm concerned at this point around, I guess, the process that you've outlined in terms of providing input into this document. I think you've said that you view it as operational, and so the scope of changes that elected members can propose to the document is limited. I guess I've got some concerns around that from a perspective of it is governance's responsibility to ensure that the significance policy is complied with. And this document is the primary means by which the significance policy is achieved in terms of the communication of information. I have some concerns about some of the information that has been, some of the contents in the statement of proposal as it is, and I'd really like to go through those. But before I do that, I think I also need to outline that I've got a number of concerns around the proposed redacted business case that need to be discussed. And so I would like to move that we go into public excluded for the same reasons that we did on the 10th of November. And that's simply to avoid any conversation that may inadvertently breach commercial sensitivity or other reasons for withholding information.
So, I'm conscious of the fact that members were advised that if they did have concerns about the text of the document, that they could be raised at the meeting. But while the content of the statement of proposal is an operational matter, if there are useful suggestions, these might be able to be incorporated. And that is what has happened since then. I'm also conscious of the fact that members have had the opportunity since last Thursday that they've had this statement of proposal. So to now, I suppose, receive it while we're in this meeting, that there needs to be a request for we need to consider substantial changes or issues that might be raised. I'm reluctant to do that because I think the issue should have been brought before elected members before they got to this meeting. I think there has been the opportunity for plenty of discussion. I don't believe that relitigating the preferred option proposal is what this meeting is about. It is about adopting a statement of proposal. It is not about changing anything or relitigating the business case or going out to the public with any different option. It is about just adopting the statement of proposal and gives the community that opportunity. But if people wish to go into in committee to discuss it, I'm prepared to do that. So is there support for that? So, okay. So I do need a seconder for that proposal. Councillor Allen, put the vote. Against? Motion's carried. So, yes, thank you. So we will now move.